Happy Friday, Florida State, and to all of our friends across Tallahassee and beyond, welcome to FSU Weather. I'm meteorologist Jay Carstens.
And I'm student meteorologist AJ Willie. We've got a real action-packed show for you here on this homecoming Friday.
Yeah, all of our alumni here in studio. We're happy to have them with us. You'll hear from a couple of them later on in today's show. Before we get into the rest of the show, we wanted to, of course, give a shout-out to some of our particular alumni who are being affected by the aftermath of Hurricane Michael. We have 4 Florida State alumni that are working in Panama City.
Yeah, we were hoping that they would be able to make it for the alumni show tonight and for homecoming weekend, but unfortunately they're dealing with all their stuff over in Panama City and along the Panhandle. Yeah,
all of us here at FSU Weather are very proud of your efforts, as well as the entire Florida State community that has really come together to aid in the recovery efforts across our area and those more affected areas off to our west.
Yeah, one of the football players is actually from Panama City, and his house was just completely destroyed in the hurricane. And he started a GoFundMe and raised over $75,000 already.
Yeah, food drive has also begun in parts of town, aided by the Seminoles Cruising Kitchen, a traveling food truck that is going to help to deliver plenty of food out to the affected areas.
Yeah, but let's go ahead and get this show started with our overview over on the wall with Parker.
Yeah, thanks guys. So today was another warm one. We saw temperatures reach 86 earlier. It's actually 85 right now in the state capital. It was partly cloudy today. Winds are out of the east at 6 miles per hour. It actually feels like 90 degrees out right now. Looking at our satellite and radar, a few clouds popping up in the area, nothing much to be expected throughout the nightly hours. But this is what is expected through tomorrow. This cold front is going to be moving through throughout the day into the evening hours and into Sunday morning hours. As for the 3-day forecast, tomorrow 30% chance of rain with temperatures being high of 88 with a low of 67. And look at that. Sunday, that cold front is going to be here, and temperatures are going to be in the upper 50s. Waking up on Monday, temperatures in the upper 40s with 48, and temperatures going to be cool, highs in the 70s. So as for the headlines for today, isolated showers for tomorrow. Fall truly arrives this weekend, and the homecoming game, which is tomorrow, and the pumpkin patch forecast. So let's send things over back to the desk.
Hey guys, right now I'm at a pumpkin patch here on Thomasville Road. It's right between Publix and Regions Bank, just north of the I-10 overpass. And all of these pumpkins here behind me actually came from Indiana. So there was a delay getting them here to the Tallahassee area because the shipping routes were closed due to Hurricane Michael for quite some time. But now they're back open. The pumpkins are here, and this is the first weekend that this pumpkin patch will be open. And I cannot think of a better weekend for it. This is the first time this season that we'll actually see normal temperatures that are more fall-like. We're going to have a major cold front come through tomorrow that's going to drop our temperatures 15 to 20 degrees by Sunday. Sunday night into Monday, we could see lows as low as the upper 40s. So the fall-like weather is definitely here. And the owners of this pumpkin patch tell me this is the best weekend to get your pumpkin of choice because the selection this year is very limited. Back to you, Sarah.
Thanks, Brantley. It looked beautiful over there. I kind of want to go to the pumpkin patch this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice though if we could get some cooler temperatures.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been in the 80s. If we could get into the 70s. I don't want to spoil the forecast though, but I think we can get some 70s maybe next week for high temperatures.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to list some of the pumpkin patches that are out here in the area. Brantley was at the Pumpkin by King, which is a Tallahassee tradition for almost 30 years that they've been doing this.
Right off at Thomasville Road, I believe?
Yes,
yeah,
Thomasville Road, yes. And also we have Spring Hill Tree Farm, which is also doing a pumpkin patch, and they have a lot of activities. They have horseback riding, they have a crop maze, and also they're providing lunch, so lunch is provided.
It's great to have some lunch, so definitely get out there and like I said, we'll have some cooler temperatures. I know those pumpkins were all the way from Indiana. Wow. So they had to bring them in. Wow. Yeah. Interesting. I know we don't have a lot of pumpkins around here that we grow, so
yeah, definitely go out. Yeah, go out and have the fall, like that's really what fall is for. I mean, going out, picking out your pumpkin, carving it, just spending time with your family, taking those cool pictures by the corn mazes and all that stuff.
Yeah, I know they had a corn maze at that one Pumpkins by King. There's actually going to be a maze they're going to be setting up by tomorrow, I think.
Yes, and we also have a few more. I'm going to name them off. We have the Christian Presbyterian Pumpkin Patch as well, over by Bannerman Road in Tallahassee.
Well, that's great, and let's actually go take a look at our first local. I believe we'll go out to Colleen and out on the wall.
Thanks, Colby. I'm looking forward to going to the pumpkin patch, but I'm going to wait until Sunday when the temperatures start to cool down. Our high today is at 88. The average is at 81 here in Tallahassee. Currently 85 degrees. It is partly cloudy, which is cooling off the temperatures a little bit in our area. We do have 86 near the coast, mid to upper 80s across the whole area. We do have this dominating high pressure bringing in the sunnier skies to the northeast in our area. Now, even though the dew point is fairly moderate, that high pressure brings in the drier air from the north, and we do have the coastal wind picking up, bringing the moist air, really making our heat index in the 90s, and we're at 6 o'clock at night. Yeah, we're hot in Tallahassee, but we don't have a whole lot going on. Maybe a few scattered showers south of I-10. Panama City is getting a few showers, but those are fizzling away as they go further north into our area. Now, this is the relief that is coming our way. We do have this stationary front from Dallas to Chicago, and that will make our way into our area going into Sunday morning, meaning you can wake up to some cooler temperatures in our area. Now, Denver's have the dominating high pressure over the area. They don't have a whole lot going on. In the next 24 hours, you can expect some scattered showers across the area in Tallahassee, south of Quincy. Now, game day, what we are all focused on, there is a chance of some partly cloudy skies, maybe a shower here and there, but it's nothing too much to be concerned about. If you're heading on the water, southwest 5 to 10 knots, it's going to be a little bit choppy due to that southerly flow. The coastal wind has really picked up in the past few days. Tonight, yeah, 67 degrees in Tallahassee. Going further to the coast, keeping it a little bit fairly warm at 70 degrees, but stay tuned because those temperatures maybe reach the upper 40s as we go into Monday, which I'm excited to break out the sweaters. Tomorrow, 88 degrees in Tallahassee. Now, this map may be a little bit deceiving. It's not going to be stormy everywhere at that time, but if you happen to be that 40% that gets hit, you will have some cloudy skies. And this is the percentage, 15 to 25% from Perry to Tallahassee. Further up west, we do have the rain chances start to increase as that front will make its way into the area. 88 degrees, kickoff at 3:30 with some isolated showers. Should be a beautiful day. Hopefully we dodge those showers here in Tallahassee for your 7-day. Yeah, 71 degrees for Sunday and cooler temperatures. Ooh, look at that, 48. All right, now I'm going to pass it on to Dylan with the Southeast.
Thank you very much, Colleen. We're going to take a look at the Southeast, and look, you see this cooler temperatures, and you think, oh, there's a front over there. Well, unfortunately, that isn't a front. That's a lot of rain, and that's making it cooler outside. The front is farther northward, and down to the Southeast, they're seeing clearer skies, but again, a lot of heat. So this front is going to start making its way eastward and southward as well into our area. Start to cool things off. On our dew points, though, closer to the coast and into the Gulf, you see those higher dew point temperatures, which means there's more moisture out in this air. But then behind that, farther north, you see some drier conditions, but the front's really not making its presence felt yet. It's still far back there, so you're not seeing these dew points into the 30s and 40s, indicating that that front has passed through. Then going over to our current heat index, you're not going to have a heat index where you don't have a lot of moisture and a lot of heat, but you are going to have a heat index in Florida because we're still seeing plenty of that moisture and plenty of that heat. We're looking for this relief. Hopefully this front will make its way down into that area and start to make it feel comfortable and fall-like temperatures. We've been seeing record averages and record temperatures throughout most of Florida. This is the area where they need some cooler temperatures for sure. And then going into our wind speed, you don't have much of a pattern. That's through this high pressure system sitting over in Georgia. So you have some low wind speeds indicating that there's nothing really moving, but you start to see these northerly winds indicating the front moving down into the area, starting to make its presence just a little bit felt, but it's still sitting far back there. Looking at our satellite, you do have this low pressure system that's driven in a lot of this moisture that's led up to a lot of these storms to fire up ahead of the front. The front's way back there. It's really not right here where you see this line of clouds clear. It's just way back there. but you do have high pressure over into Georgia. This warm front is expected to dissipate and stall out into the next day. And then looking at our next 24 hours, you start to see the front move down, but the front's still behind where this cloud cover is clearing. You do have less rain, though, as it's moving eastward, so that's looking good for our area. We're not going to see rain chances that high the farther you go east. The farther you go west, though, you do have more rain in your area, and these storms dissipating into Sunday and clearing out, and high pressure coming back, making it clear skies throughout. Looking at tonight, though, rain still present farther eastward with those that rain mass still moving its way eastward with the front moving that way too. And then warm conditions into Florida as well. Into tomorrow, you have cooler conditions with the rain, but you're starting to feel the front make its way out of the areas into Arkansas and Oklahoma into Texas. But right now, we're going to send it over to the desk with Jennifer and Greg.
Thank you, Dylan. And we're very happy to welcome Greg D., who is from Tampa, Florida, who works at ABC Action News in Tampa. And Greg actually graduated here from Florida State with his master's degree. And we're just so happy to have you back here at Florida State. How do you like being back?
Glad to be here. It's been years since I graduated, and the campus has changed so much. You guys are getting a brand new building next door, which I am so jealous to see.
I actually won't be here long enough to see it, but just to get into you, how did your education here at FSU help you in your professional world?
I got to tell you, I think that this show, what you guys are doing here, is the #1 leg up that FSU gives you, because I felt like when I went out looking for a job in the real world, I had a big advantage. And I think the fact that this is a student-run show and that you guys are involved in all parts of it really give you some great experiences. So when you go into that first job where you may have to do more than a typical meteorologist, you're ready for it. So I think I'm very thankful that I came to FSU and that I'm a Seminole and that I was a part of this show.
It's one of the best schools in the nation for meteorology. Now, you're on the top 100 list for Forbes for top 100 meteorologists to follow on social media. How do you feel that social media is as a tool in meteorology?
It's incredible because it's turned a job that was 5:30, and 6, or 5 to 7 in the morning into 24/7, and that's good and bad. During the hurricane, I was on vacation. I had to post, and I had to keep my audience up to date. But it also gives you a way to reach out to each viewer individually that television never was able to do before. To answer an individual question, to help a viewer feel more comfortable with the situation, or to help them decide. That's something that we've never been able to do, and I think it's really given us a lot of strength, and I think it's really given a lot of strength to local television. I think it's really made us relevant.
And that's something that we've learned here at FSU. We have so many new followers on Twitter. It's something that we post on every day to get a lot of people. You work in the morning broadcasting world.
I do.
What are some of the pros and cons of waking up that early for TV?
Okay, #1 con. 1:45 alarm. That's when I wake up, right? And I go to bed between 6 and 7 every evening. But the best part is I really feel, #1, in terms of work, we are the only ones there, the morning crew. You get really close. You're in the studio together the whole time, the whole morning. So you almost become a family, and I think that really, really helps. The other thing is I'm up at 10 o'clock in the morning. So I have the entire day, and typically I'm in Tampa. By 10:30, 10:45, I'm on Paso Grill Beach while everyone else is at work.
So what are some outdoor activities that you like to do in Tampa?
I'm a runner, so I do like to run. I run around. I like to go to the beach. I like to get close to the water. It's really a great place to live.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we're excited to have you back in the future. We're actually going to send things back over with Colby with a look at the National.
Hey, thanks, guys. And looking nationally, we look at those temperatures and we play kind of a game of spot the front. We can spot some precipitation from Oklahoma into Arkansas into portions of Missouri as well. There's those temperatures. 58 right now in Dallas-Fort Worth, a very rain-cooled 58. 68 over in Memphis. Heading out to the west, 66 there in Denver, down I-25, 66 in Albuquerque as well. 59 over there in the Pacific Northwest there in Seattle. We do have a frontal boundary that you really start to see those blues, and that's definitely some polar air that we will see coming into the northern tier of the country over the next several days. That's back behind that frontal system I'll talk there. Much drier air back out into the west. 34-degree dew point there in Los Angeles. That's not good. I'll talk about those Santa Ana winds here in a second. Moisture tongue coming up out of the Gulf of Mexico. 57-degree dew point there in Dallas-Fort Worth. 63 there in San Antonio. Wind speed and direction, you can really start to see where we start to have those winds coming out of the northwest. That's going to help bring in some of that much cooler air into the northern tier of the country. And then coming up out of the Gulf of Mexico, bringing in that moisture tank I was talking about there into portions of Texas. Looking at the big picture, there's that next frontal boundary, and that's actually what will affect our temperatures as we go into next week, and that'll be nice where we'll have those 70s. That'll feel good there, and then a lot of precip from the Ohio River Valley back into northwestern Arkansas, even into Oklahoma and Dallas, and also into Texas, and they've been really dealing with the rain and precip over the last several days. Not a good situation there. Back from about San Angelo and then in toward Dallas, and then portions of southeastern Oklahoma and northwestern Arkansas, there's that flash flood watch. That's until about 11 p.m. tonight, and they've been dealing with copious amounts of rain that have moved over the last several hours. They've been training over the same locations and off to the north and to the east. Going into the northern tier, though, you can start to see some rain activity moving across Michigan, moving back into portions of the northeast as we go into the next several hours. That'll start to affect that area, but really the southwest is where we're really worried about. You don't see any sort of precipitation across the southwest, all dry. That's not good because we have fire weather alerts, and we've actually got these Santa Ana winds that are coming out over the plateau. They start out over the desert southwest and they blow into these lower areas into Los Angeles, so that air actually becomes even drier as it moves down into the valleys. Not good there. You don't want to do any sort of burning in those regions. That's till Saturday there at 1 a.m. Over the next 24 hours, though, it's going to be really where we see this precip, and you'll see that form there. It actually combines with that front that's off to the north, and that precip there will actually move into the southeastern portions of the United States, extending from eastern Tennessee, western North Carolina, but staying well off to the north and to the west of our region. As we go into your Saturday, that trend will continue, and then we will have a chance of showers and storms into Saturday, but it's going to be a light one. This is almost a dry front for our neck of the woods, and then we'll get some more chances into next week for that chances for showers and storms there. Look at that cold Arctic air coming up out of Canada into the northern tier of the country. 36 degrees tonight in Minneapolis, 38 there in Denver. It's actually colder in Minneapolis than Denver, even though Denver's sitting much higher there. 42 Kansas City, 57 Dallas-Fort Worth. They're still dealing with that shower and thunderstorm activity there. Go back into the southeast, though. Very mild conditions, 72 down to the Big Easy, 67 there in Tallahassee, 63 over in Atlanta. As we transition into tomorrow, you start to see really where that cold air starts to dip down a little bit further. 61 high there in KC, 70 there in Dallas-Fort Worth. They start to rebound with those temperatures, and then into the southeast, it's going to be about the 80s. But talking a little bit more about the Sunshine State, I'm going to hand it right over to Sarah.
Thanks, Colby. So moving on to the Sunshine State, going to move over. There it is. So we're still going to be seeing those warm-like temperatures as we're waiting for this big frontal system to move off through. So we're going to move on down. Current conditions right now, Tallahassee at 85 degrees. Central Florida seeing those showers, so that's why they're a little bit cooler. 78 in Orlando, moving down into South Florida, 84 in West Palm Beach. Now our dew points are on the fence on how muggy it is outside as we have that frontal system moving off through, bringing our moisture a little bit up. 71 in Tallahassee, 73 in Tampa, and 72 in Miami. That's why these current heat indexes are feeling a bit warmer as we're waiting for this frontal system to move off through. That's why we're seeing 90 still at the 6 o'clock hour, so very warm all around as we have this high pressure system off into our north, bringing in this clockwise motion. We also have that frontal system that's stationary right into Central Florida, bringing in a little bit of that convergence of those showers and storms. 12 right now in Tampa, so pretty breezy over there. Satellite radar showing clear skies up for the panhandle. For Central Florida and South Florida, seeing a few bits and pockets of showers as we move off through into the west. Going to zoom on into the Panhandle area. For the Panhandle, seeing dry conditions. We saw that little shower pop up into Panama City, but it is fizzling out and dying out with the loss of daytime heating. For tonight's forecast for the Panhandle, sitting in those higher 60s, lower 70s, 71 in Apalachicola, 76 in Tallahassee, 66 in Marianna. Now moving on into north central Florida, there's those showers I was talking about moving off through. A lot of that activity moving off into the west, closer to Citrus County by my hometown, but a lot of that activity is fizzling out as it moves off through. Going into our temperatures for tonight, sitting in those 70s and a few pockets of higher 60s, 69 closer to my hometown in Ocala, 71 in Daytona Beach, and 72 in Orlando. Now moving down to South Florida, we do see some few sprinkles here and about, but nothing too serious. Unless you're the Wicked Witch of the West, I would suggest maybe bring an umbrella, but other than that, just a few sprinkles here and there as we move off through. And for tonight's forecast for South Florida, sitting in those 70s as well, 70 in Fort Myers, 76 a little bit warmer in Fort Lauderdale, and 75 in Homestead. So here's our futurecast showing those scattered showers and storms moving off through into our west and fizzling out as they move offshore. As we move on into tomorrow, we're going to see that cloud cover return again for the morning time, and then another round of those showers and storms as we move off through into Saturday. And then for tomorrow, not a surprise, going to be sitting warm as we wait for that cold front to come through. 90 in Gainesville, 88 in Tampa. But for now, I'm going to send things over back to the desk.
Thank you, Sarah. Now I'm here with Brian Norcross, who's a Florida State alumni, actually graduated with his master's degree here at Florida State in meteorology, but not the typical thing you study. Can you tell us more about your studies as a graduate student?
Well, I did all the meteorology classes, but at the time, the folks that were running the meteorology school, I got together with them, and it was some of the original people that set it up. Dr. Tom Gleason was the guy that really made it work for me. And he worked with the dean of the communications school to create just an ad hoc broadcast meteorology program for a master's. Yeah. So it was, I had to do all the meteorology that everybody else did, but instead of doing the extra courses, I did communications research about weather under the auspices of the dean of the College of Communications. So it ended up being kind of a broadcast meteorology master's in the end.
Right. So how did you come about to want to focus on communications in meteorology?
Well, I was a math major and physics minor as an undergraduate at Florida State. But I was working in radio, and I always wanted to be a disc jockey when I was a kid. And I started as a disc jockey in high school, actually. And I did it here in Tallahassee as well when I was in school. Both at the local top 40 station, the one the kids listen to, and also WFSU FM. I did a thing at night called The Underground Scene with Barry Allen. And anyway, I was very interested in that. But then I went off into this science-y kind of direction, right? Well, after I graduated with the math degree, I ended up not using it at all, and I went into television, and ended up running a news department and producing news and directing and other kinds of stuff like that. So as a result of that, I had all this communications, like when you're producing news, you're communicating the news, you're working on what is the news of the day. And as a result of all that, I just decided before I got too old, I wanted to see if I could do the weather. And that was the combination of science and broadcasting.
Yeah, that is a great way to connect those two passions.
So when I came to Florida, back to Florida State, I said, here's what I want to do. I want to do a combination of science and broadcasting. And then, the meteorology school and the communication school worked it out for me.
It almost sounds like you kind of put together everything for us here at FSU Weather today. So as far as... I was the first one, I think, to actually do this. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So as far as your research and whatnot in communications, what have you found as far as people perceiving?
People perceive what they think they hear and what you actually say are two completely different things. And if you want people to understand what you're saying, and it's really important, you have to say it a minimum of 3 times, and if it's really, really important, 6 or 9 times. There's a rule of 3s in communications, and that comes really into play during a hurricane time when you want somebody to understand what's the difference between a watch and a warning or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. That is definitely great information we can all use here at FSU Weather. Thank you for stopping by and letting us talk to you. But for now, let's send it back over to the wall with a look at a local.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm here with your time-lapse video from Doak Campbell Stadium. And look here, you can notice right about 2 o'clock this afternoon, the clouds shifted from actually coming from our south to coming from our east, which is a little bit weird. You can see that real big difference in the upper level winds as we look at our time lapse here. Currently around the Big Bend region, looking at 85 degrees here in Tallahassee. That heat index value still well into the 90s. That's due to our unseasonably warm dew points. Around much of the region, 85 degrees here in Tallahassee, 83 in Monticello and Perry, 82 degrees in Thomasville and Moultrie. Those dew points that I was alluding to earlier are right here, easily into the low 70s here in Tallahassee and Quincy, up into the mid 70s in Monticello with a 75-degree dew point. A little bit less muggy up in Thomasville and Moultrie with 68-degree dew points. Satellite radar here shows not a lot going on throughout much of the Big Bend region. Just a very few amount of scattered showers and storms moving through. But looking at the big picture here, You can see ahead of this cold front draped across much of the Midwest is a fair amount of rain moving through parts of Texas, Arkansas, and into the Ohio Valley region. Looking for that front to make its way into our region later tomorrow night into Sunday morning, giving us those very fall-like temperatures we've been hoping for feels like the past 2 months. Over the next 24 hours, you can expect a few scattered showers and storms to make their way through the region this evening, clearing out as we get into the overnight hours. Saturday morning, waking up to temperatures once again in the low 70s and just a few cloud coverage Saturday morning. As we progress throughout the day on Saturday, going to have to deal with a few scattered in showers and storms for the football game. Kickoff is at 3:30 p.m. So make sure, remember, you cannot bring an umbrella into the stadium, so make sure that you bring your poncho and your rain gear. Our temperature forecast here, as I said earlier, temperatures will be dipping down into the low 70s and upper 60s for much of the region tonight. As we progress throughout the day tomorrow, temperatures will quickly rise into the mid to upper 80s, but hopefully that cloud coverage will help to keep our temperatures relatively on the more comfortable side for the game tomorrow. Heading up out and about town tonight, expecting temperatures in the upper 60s throughout the entire region, partly cloudy skies with our wind remaining on the mostly calm side. Tomorrow, looking at temperatures in the upper 80s with 88 degrees expected here in Tallahassee, and just a 30% chance for those isolated showers and storms to move through the region. Around much of the rest of the region, the more east you get, the less rain chances you will see, 25% to 40% in our region. As you get to the west, looking more like 50 to 60%. Your pumpkin patch forecast here has 76 degrees at 10 a.m. and then getting up into the upper 80s by 5 p.m. So it's going to be an absolutely gorgeous day to head out to the pumpkin or to head on over to the FSU football game. But for now, I'm going to send things back over to the desk with Dylan and Jake to go ahead and close out the show.
Thanks, AJ. If only that cold front came just one day earlier with all the things happening around campus tomorrow, as once again, we are here in homecoming weekend in Tallahassee.
Yeah, there's a lot of events coming up. The first event, we have the parade today at 2 o'clock. We have Nick Kroll's comedy show tonight at 7 o'clock at the Donald Tucker Center.
Yeah, they'll also be crowning the homecoming chief and princess at the War Chant event. That's going to be happening just about a half hour from our 6 o'clock live viewing here. Yep. So if you have any last-second ideas to get out there, you might as well get there soon. Of course, the football game tomorrow as well. Yep. FSU going to be taking on Wake Forest with the Doak After Dark concert afterwards as well.
Yeah, with T-Pain and Big Boy of Outkast. It is free to all those who go to the game, so you don't have to purchase anything. It's going to be a nice concert after the rain clears, though.
Yeah, but thankfully some of that moisture is going to be kind of fading away before it really gets to our region, so those rain chances aren't as high as they are, say, to our northwest or so. And then you see Saturday night evidence of that temperature starting to drop. And then look at Sunday.
71 degrees. That is perfect sweater weather. I can't even say it properly. It's time to put the rain jacket away for a little bit and bring out the sweater.
And yes, you do see a number there that starts with a 4. To quote the great Ric Flair, woo! I'm excited for that. 48 degrees for that nighttime low on Sunday, and then those cooler temperatures really stick around through the entirety of next week.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely great until those rain chances come back. But luckily, we're getting a relief from these hot 90-degree afternoons.
Yeah, which of course is great for all of those out there that are still recovering from Hurricane Michael off to our west. Still some without power in those areas near Panama City.
Yeah, but if you want to keep up with us more, follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/FSU Weather.
We're also on Facebook. You can guess the URL, facebook.com/FSU Weather as well.
We're also live on YouTube, and all our old broadcasts are hosted there as well on youtube.com/FSU Weather.
Maybe watching there right now. And of course, my old catchphrase, don't forget to give the Instagram some love. We're right there as well.
No, don't worry. But perfect conditions for the game, after the game, for your Sunday pumpkin patch. But for all of us here at FSU Weather, I'm student meteorologist Dylan Lee.
And I'm meteorologist Jay Carstens. Enjoy homecoming weekend, and we'll see you Monday night.
Go Noles.